Good morning, everybody. It's time for Morning Manna. And this morning is all about connection. It's all about connection. The text to talk, to take away 5 minutes or less. Of course, that's what I'm going to share with you in a moment, but I want to greet some people and just going to shout out a few things and then get right into this morning's manna. Now, if it's your first, second, or third time joining us on this morning, what I need you to do is to put in the chat area who you are, where you're from, and all of that so we can shout you out on this morning. And this is how we do it. Now, what we want you to do is to put the revelation that you get, the things that impact you as a result of the manna, that it will create a community and a cumulative effect of others who watch will be able to grab a hold of that as well. And so that's what we want you to do. And of course, if it's your first, second, or third time, the Manna fam want to join you, want to invite you again and say hello to you. Let me greet some people and then get into this morning's manna connection. Connection. Good morning, Laura. How are you on this morning? Elder Mobley, how are you on this morning? Vicky, how are you on this morning? Deacon Joe, how are you on this morning? Pamela, how are you on this morning? Verena, how are you on this morning? Gloria, how are you? Pastor Leah, how are you doing on this morning? Glad you're back. I hope you're back. Good morning, Elder Mobley. How are you? Good morning, Dawn. How are you? Lydia, how are you? Joel, how are you? How is Mississippi treating you? Am I crooked letter? What was it? I can't remember what we used to say when we were kids, spelling Mississippi. But anyhow, good morning, Tamara. How are you on this morning? Good to see you. That consistency is rolling. I appreciate it and glad to see you and the fam. Good morning, Elder Jan. How are you, Liz? How are you? How are you doing, Liz? Hope you're doing very well. Gerald, how are you? Cynthia, how are you? Minister Cent, how are you on this morning? Jermaine, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you on this morning. Lenora, how are you? Patricia, how are you guys doing on this morning? This morning, it's all about connection. Connection. Put it in the chat area how it speaks to you, and then others can grab it as well. Let me speak to a couple of more folk and then get right to it. Good morning, Brother Nesbitt. How are you? Lena, how are you? Anna, how are you doing? It's good to see everybody. Let's get into this morning's manna. This morning's manna is all about connections. Connections. So we want to share with on this morning the text to talk to take away 5 minutes or less. Here we go. Here's the text John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. Jesus talking in the upper room discourse to the disciples on the night within 24 hours that he's about to die. And he's trying to lay some connection down. If you remain in me and I in you, you're going to bear much fruit. If you remain connected, some things are going to happen to you. Here's the three things I want to share with you very quickly here. And that is when you remain connected, as Jesus has said in John 15:5, it's going to cause continuous flow. Continuous flow. When it gets cold and when I was growing up, I remember my dad used to have to wrap the pipes, the water pipes, because it would freeze them. The flow would stop. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Well, now we have PCV pipes, and it happens, but not as frequently. Of course, in a modern house, it doesn't happen at all. My point is that you could turn the spigot on and there would be no flow. There are times that you will need the flow of Christ in your life, not just times, all the time. But if you're not connected, there won't be any flow, continuous flow. Second thing is communion. Communion. Communion is the fellowship that we are in fellowship together, that we are coming together and becoming one. Not only that are we having communion and fellowship, what it does is that we are having a meal together, a meal together. So what does that mean? A meal together is one of the most prized things in Eastern culture, that you would sit down and eat with one another. So therefore, when we're talking about being connected, Jesus says in 15:5, if I am the vine and I am, you are the branches and you are, Remain in me, I in you, and you will be connected, and therefore you will have continuous flow. You have communion. Here's the third thing: there will be some correction. There was going to be some correction. He says, I'm going to prune you. I'm going to prune you because I need you to bear more fruit. You've been bearing fruit. You have. But I want you to bear even more. So I have to bring about some correction, kind of snip off some things here so that flow can continue, the fellowship can continue. And so here is your takeaway. Here's your takeaway. You ready? Are you connected? Are you connected? I certainly hope that you are, because if you are, you're going to bear much fruit. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. Before I go, I got to shout out my good friend, Bishop Earl Purvis, now doctor as well. God bless you. Glad to see you on this morning. Share the manna. If it bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more morning manna. God bless you. Bye now.